Here's a bumpy possession highlighting his two biggest weaknesses. He can't contain the guard courtside because of his slow feet, then he lingers on the edge of the paint and delicately slides to the ball for a foul.
So what this is telling me that I think I'm gonna have to put Larry over Magic after watching these highlights, bro. Yo, what it is, what it ain't, YouTube. This your boy MJT Reacts coming at you with another banger video, man. Let's get it, let's go. Yes, sir, man. Y'all loving this GOAT series, I see, bro, because, man, these last two videos I posted about Larry Bird went crazy, bro. I appreciate y'all for the support, bro. Keep liking it up and keep subscribing, bro. I'm gonna keep on with this little series I'm doing right now. First I did about Jordan. Next one I did about Larry Bird. Now this time, we finna react to your boy Earvin Magic Johnson. Yes, sir. Now, like I say, I wasn't born in the 80s, so you know he was dominant. Him and Larry Bird was dominant in the 80s. We also had a discussion in the comments of my last video saying who was the better passer between Larry Bird and Magic. Now, I said Magic. All the highlights I've seen, I know he had more fancy passes than Larry Bird, but Larry Bird had some dimes though, like some damn dimes. But Magic is known for dimes. Showtime Lakers, come on now. So we finna react to Magic Johnson, another part of this little GOAT series I'm doing on my channel. See how y'all like it. It's called How Magic Johnson Destroyed Teams Without Volume Scoring, Greatest Peaks, Episode 5. Shout out to Thinking Basketball. I love watching people break down people's games like Magic, Jordan, Kobe, Larry, all them GOATs of all time. And we finna react to this video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into the video, man. Yes, sir.
Magic Johnson, the star of Showtime. Earvin Magic Johnson, the star of Showtime, a highlight reel legend who won 5 championships in Los Angeles. But was there more to his game than just fancy passing? What was his defensive impact like? And could someone who wasn't a huge scorer actually be the greatest offensive player in NBA history?
Where's Larry Bird in all this? Has it blocked by Elijah Wan.
Michael Jordan saves the day.
This series tackles one question: who was the best at his best? We start at the ABA merger and go through the best multi-year stretches, examining the legends who provided the most on-court impact. These are the greatest peaks.
Now, like I said, everybody know about Magic, man. Him and Larry Bird was killing in the 80s. I told y'all my GOAT is Kobe Bryant. I think the GOAT is still Michael Jordan. Even though Larry Bird moved up on my list of greatest of all time in the top 10, Mike, Kobe, then LeBron. Larry Bird still have a chance. I gotta still react to some Larry Bird stuff, but that's my top 3 right now is Mike, Kobe, LeBron. So, yeah, man. Let's see what they talking about, man.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
In the early days of the NBA, ball handling was left to the shorter players. Point guards maxed out at about 6'5" until young Magic Johnson shattered that ceiling. At 6'8", Magic had the size of a big man, but instead he became the tallest floor general in league history. Earvin always possessed these high-level ball skills, playing this way in high school and college, and his ability to handle the ball at high speed made him a unicorn in transition. With everyone within 20 feet of the hoop then, rebounds turned into foot races, and Magic's speed strained backpedaling defenders. That little change of direction is enough to spin around the defense, and there are no bigs back to stop the oversized Johnson. With everyone chasing offensive rebounds, Magic could often charge the rim as the largest player, and he loved that in and out dribble, but also notice his change of direction at speed, the big step one way, then striding the other. He wasn't quite a Euro stepper in these spots, but his use of elongated strides for his height was part of his downhill devastation, even against set defenders. That's a baby cut there to dust the first defender, a beautiful behind the back dribble, and then almost a proto Euro step with a big step right, then changing directions back
That's
to
tough.
the left.
That's a tough move, boy. That's some nowadays type move. I ain't gonna lie.
Step with a big step right, then changing directions
tough.
back to the left. He wasn't Giannis, but Magic's size and head of speed made it difficult to keep him from getting to the cup, and so he became the
People always talk about Magic game, offensive game. I know he was one of probably the best passers of all time. But I'm starting to see that transition wise, bro, can't nobody stop him. 6'8". That's point guards nowadays. Everybody 6'8", 6'9". You got LeBron. You used to have Ben Simmons before he became trash. Who else is a point guard nowadays that's big? Like, you got these point forwards nowadays, bro. So Magic can fit right into in today's game. Definitely.
godfather of the grab and go, scooping a rebound and flooring it to the other end. Even on makes, he would build speed and drive it down your throat. Danny Ainge stays with the crossover here, but Boston's center isn't back yet, so Magic can easily clean up the miss. Off this make, he builds up speed, and Seattle's center is near the three-point line, so that change of direction turns him around, and look at how low and sturdy Johnson is. He's powering through contact with his body, and it's free throws. Here come the Lakers again off a make, only this time Boston has pieces in place, but Magic upshifts into a backpedaling Ainge, and so help defenders need to sink into the lane, and that just creates wide open offense. Defenses who flooded the paint in transition to wall off Magic still surrendered perimeter jumpers. These outside jumpers were big wins for defenses, especially long twos, but Magic's pressure created a kind of pick your poison where if help came, he smoked it with his passing. Jack approves. So that made big men reluctant to leave their marks, and then Magic just scored over smaller defenders.
One thing about, because I play basketball too, I'm a knockdown shooter, as you know, man. Look at my old videos on my channel. Knockdown shooter. But I love offenses that pushes the pace, bro. Stop trying to wait on the defense to set up. That's how a lot of these teams don't get the score, or they bet on half-court offense because they let the defense set up. If you push them up, I know a lot of people going to be tired. That's what the hell the Warriors did against my team last night against the 76ers because they beat the you-know-what out of them. They kept on push. Draymond get the rebound, push the pace, make them play defense. All the older guys be tired. I love that type of offense, bro. Stop letting the defense set up. Push that mug, and if you got shooters, knock them shots down, bro. I love that type of offense.
His playmaking was so threatening, he could use it to unlock scoring.
Hold on, my damn sound messed up.
His playmaking was so threatening, he could use it to unlock scoring. Imagine playing defense against this.
He wasn't even a shooter.
If you sprint back, Magic uses that body to cut you off and slow you down, and if you're a big man hustling back, you have to snap yourself around only to cover AC Green flying down the wing, but joke's on you because the Magician still has the ball.
That's tough. That's tough.
Of course, Magic's threat to score also opened passing windows in turn, and this is all possible because of his dribbling, behind the back, through the legs, whatever it took.
Oh my God, that was nasty. That was nasty.
Because
Look
of
at
his
this.
dribbling.
Ooh, come here.
Behind the back.
Behind the back. Stop reach. Stop reach.
Through the legs.
Fake out pass. Got him. That's
Magic
tough.
was incredibly secure with his handle in tight spots, changing speeds when needed, shielding the ball with his body, and snapping passes off the bounce. This allowed him to probe defenses. He's cut off well here, but protects the ball from a trailer and then attacks with the left, and again the body protects the rock. He made it look easy, but at 6'8", Magic's ability to protect the ball at speed, he was rarely ever stripped, and use his body to shield defenders made him arguably the most dominant transition weapon ever. It was largely the same story in the half court too. This guard tries to funnel Magic into this big man, but he ends up bodying him out of the play, and it's free throws. Irvin also used that tight handle and change of speed. This stop and go turned John Stockton into a matador, and Magic's acceleration could blow by athletic wings. He could also score from floater range, flowing into shots at all kinds of angles with crafty little releases like this. Fist pump. When headed right to left, he also had a rolling hook shot from this range, and he could feel contact and immediately hop into a soft shot attempt. His size and body control made these looks clean, and Magic's incredible dexterity led to some seriously soft touch on these shots.
These shots look
He also
awkward
used
as
his
hell,
size
but they
to
going
pick
in,
apart
boy.
defenses from the perimeter, hurling assists over the top, and the accuracy and speed on some of these deliveries set them apart.
Good pass.
Again, he's using his body here, able to shield off defenders by turning his back while still seeing all the action. And his height let him keep a live dribble while just diming up teammates over shorter guards. And these were some of the most brilliant passes ever. Does anyone look open here? Because Magic slingshots a pass over traffic to Worthy, all because this defender turned away from James to navigate the screen, Worthy stopped instead of going through, and Magic's third eye read the whole thing. Johnson fired bold passes like this across the paint regularly, and they required velocity and the acuity to read defenders' eyes so he could throw fastballs right by their heads and they couldn't react in time.
Quarterback
Bonus
stuff,
points
boy.
for trying this against Larry Bird, who already picked off a tight Magic pass earlier in that game. That one was a looping attempt, and Magic clearly trusted his fastball more, sometimes even too much, overestimating how quickly he could teleport one past a nearby defender. And there are
Hey.
Magic clearly trusted his fastball more, sometimes even too much, overestimating how quickly he could teleport one past a nearby defender.
Yeah,
And there are spots where a lob or something softer over the top look open, but he often throws it harder. Here he needs to lob one out in front of his intended.
And one thing about passes I don't like is like when I'm right next to them, they still throw a bullet pass, expecting me to catch it, then get mad at me because I didn't catch it. Why you throwing me a bullet pass and I'm right next to you? Just toss it to me. Bullet passes like that, bro. Tell you, fuck up your fingers, boy. I'm telling you.
Intended receiver, but misses it, and then he's called for a one-step travel, changing his mind. Another minor nitpick about Magic's fastball is that sometimes it was a little too hot to handle. But most of the time, his passing velocity fit the ball into tight windows.
That's tough.
For
That's
instance,
good.
some
That's
of
a
his
great
entries
pass.
from the top like this were just bullseyes. He wasn't quite at Bird's level as an outlet passer, but he was splendid there as well, able to use that
He just gave a shout out to Bird. Best outlet passer.
hairpin trigger off
Larry
the
Legend.
bounce from the back court, and Magic's best outlets were snapping completions to his streaking teammates like this. There is an argument that Bird was a better pure passer of sorts, but I'm comfortable saying he was a superior off-ball passer where Magic's dribbling gave him a huge on-ball edge. Johnson carved out way more chances, and risk-taking in those spots is a natural trade-off. He also mastered certain angles and reads and relentlessly hit them over and over.
I guess he's saying that Larry Bird is the better pure passer, but he's the better on-ball passer, I guess. Is that what he's saying?
So it's nearly impossible to argue that anyone created more offense for his teammates in the 60s, 70s, or 80s than peak Magic Johnson. Using our best estimates of shots created, no one forced help and then set up a teammate more than Magic until the 2000s. And even if we include everyone from the three-point era, Johnson still looks historically strong as a playmaker in these estimates. So just how high did all of this playmaking take the Lakers on offense? And did Magic give back any of that value because of questionable defense?
The Converse weapon. That's to shoot. That's Magic do what he was born to do.
Toward the end of the 80s, more of Magic's shot creation came in the half court, as the Lakers moved away from a steady diet of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar post-ups and started running more pick and roll for Magic. These were mostly side pick and rolls inside the line, where defenses committed extra defenders and Magic could spray passes for open looks. This two-man game gave defenses fits, where if they didn't send extra defenders, Magic could slice into the openings himself. But of course, his passing punished any help. The defense collapses, and this was before that little lob pass was popular. Off pick and roll, Magic could use all his little scoring tricks headed to the rim. He could put that speedy hook pass to good use, hitting the roll man. and it wasn't as common, but he could make the pocket pass too. But perhaps the most critical part of this half-court dance was Magic's outside shooting, where he'd punish defenders who went under the screen. He didn't pull this as frequently as some players do today, but there were times when he was quick to fire, and he was an underrated outside shooter. In the last 3 years of his career, he shot 90% at the foul line, and he extended his range beyond the three-point stripe, hitting 34% of those.
That's below average.
Before the 87 season, Magic said he had to shift his mindset to become more of a scorer, and I think it's reflected in his willingness to pull the trigger on outside shots and attack in the post more. He was more aggressive, taking smaller players to the block and using his size to score over them like this. Although on these little flip shots, he did need a clean look to be effective, so instead he regularly busted out hook shots with both hands. And his combination of size, strength, and craftiness made him a serious mismatch against guards down there. And yes, if you send help, he would set up teammates from the block. Look, I'm not a doctor, but double teaming Magic Johnson in the post is not something I'd recommend. As Kareem faded, the Lakers actually played more in the half court behind Magic. Their pace was below average from 1987 to 1991, and that's when Magic quarterbacked some of the most efficient offenses in NBA history. In the back half of the 80s, the Lakers produced the third best offensive stretch since the shot clock in both the regular season and the playoffs. Defense, however, was another story. Johnson often guarded forwards or slower guards to offset his slow foot speed. His lack of lateral quickness made him vulnerable on an island, and you can see how choppy his side-to-side movement could be, sliding in front of a young Charles Barkley here. Take a closer look at this. Defense, however, was another story. Johnson often guarded forwards or slower guards to offset his slow foot speed. His lack of lateral quickness made him vulnerable on an island, and you can see how choppy his side-to-side movement could be, sliding in front of a young Charles Barkley here. Take a closer look at his footwork. He's on his heels a lot, gambles with a reach, then can't really break well and commits a reckless foul. Same technique here, and he's roasted by a pedestrian point guard, although Magic rarely had to venture outside 20 feet in the 1980s like this. Back then, sagging way off guards who stood near the line was standard, and this buffer helped him avoid breakdowns in these matchups. When he played slower forwards, his size definitely helped him. Here, Bird's not quick enough to beat Magic's loping steps. And as he lost some quickness at the end of the decade, he could be assigned to jump shooting bigs, because LA's forwards, AC Green and James Worthy, were both nimble enough to handle many wings. If those big men were to take Magic to the post, his size offered some resistance, although even on the low block, his subpar agility and lack of vertical explosion could be exploited. He was actually more comfortable double-teaming the post, where he could dig down and attack big men of that post-centric era, although I wouldn't call his hands great. They could miss the mark, and he would foul on imprecise swipes at times. At 6'8", he did make kick-out passes a touch harder, yet he didn't attack the ball on that first dribble nearly as much as someone like Bird, often remaining upright on these plays or offering a weak flail at the rock. Magic's height was more of an asset on entry passes from smaller guards, and here comes that pseudo-Eurostep again. This is an overhead view of the perks of being tall, just throwing his hands up against a smaller guard, and deflections like this triggered that vaunted Showtime fast break. Like Bird, Magic also roamed a lot on the edge of the paint, so he could slide over on drives like this when he wasn't doubling the post. Here's a nice sequence where he stays with the cutter and then peels off to help on the action, and that deflection saved a Boston layup. He could also help down on cutters at the rim, sniffing this out and doing just enough to disrupt it, and this is probably the best defensive play I've seen him make in the late 80s, quickly reacting to the pass this time, and those hands were right on the money. Yet for all of his court vision, Magic wasn't always aware of the ball, occasionally tunnel visioning on the screening action in front of him as the ball dribbled right past him. He also fell asleep every once in a while. After a jumper, Bird beat him over the top twice with this in one game. Here he is in transition, unaware of the threat behind him, and he gets a taste of his own medicine. But these issues weren't too common. His bigger issue in the paint was verticality. He often slid over but offered statuesque resistance, and even Magic's better rotations weren't always effective because of how floor-bound he was. Here's a bumpy possession highlighting his two biggest weaknesses. He can't contain the guard courtside because of his slow feet, then he lingers on the edge of the paint and delicately slides to the ball for a foul.
So, what this is telling me that I might, I gotta think about who's in my top 5. I think I'm gonna have to put Larry over Magic after watching these highlights, bro. They said that he wasn't that much of a better passer than Larry. Larry was the better defender. Larry was the better scorer. Larry won 3 MVPs back to back to back. He was a part of the 40-50-90 club like 4 different times in his career. I might have to knock Magic below Larry, bro. So I think Larry in the top 5 after watching this, because I think I had Magic in my top 5. I was undecided, but after watching these and his defensive efforts and his liability sometimes on defense, might have to give the edge to Larry. Might have to. It is what it is.
He rarely contested at the rim in the half court, but in transition he was often the first defender back, and he might as well have been 5'8" in these situations. It's not a huge part of the game either, but this is probably the best transition contest I found in countless opportunities. His typical approach in these spots was avoiding contact by subtly moving out of the way, which preserved Magic's body in exchange for paperweight defense. 0-inch vertical contests rarely work. He didn't block many shots during this period, and when he did catch one, it was using that same low block technique we saw from Bird, targeting the ball while it's in the hand still, and it's amazing to me how similar yet different these two were. Neither was suited to stay with quick perimeter players, and they often roamed around on defense, taking advantage of the compressed game back then. Bird pushed boundaries as an off-ball post player and shooter, while Magic cranked the dial up with his on-ball passing and speed
That's
game.
a dive, bro.
And they also played next to Hall of Fame centers. And while Kevin McHale is rightfully heralded as an artist in the post, James Worthy was an isolation machine. Worthy blended perfectly with Magic as Kareem faded, providing a more dynamic half-court backup plan. Note how many great Magic passes are off a Worthy cut. And of course, Big Game James was incredible running the wing in transition. Unfortunately, we can't really examine their missed time during the 80s because Magic and his teammates were so healthy, but the more comprehensive approach we used in episode 1 that figured out a player's impact on his team ranks Magic second all time, reinforcing, at the very least, that he was having monster offensive impact. All-in-One metrics also view his peak as one of history's very best. If we use 1986 instead of 1989 here, he's actually 5th in both stats, but I don't think there's enough of a defensive boost from that 86 season to outweigh his increased offensive aggression at the end of the decade. Remember, that aggression only enhanced his playmaking, the opposite phenomenon we discussed with Wilt Chamberlain in episode 1. Magic scored less than Wilt, but was a far more dominant weapon because he maximized his playmaking off of his scoring. He did this with near optimal shot selection as well, rarely ever forcing low percentage attempts or settling for something easy before testing the defense. Magic's also viewed as a good rebounder because of his 6 or 7 boards a game, well listed as a point guard, but he was functionally closer to a wing and wasn't overly physical boxing out big men when switching on to them. And while there might have been a tactical
Was
advantage
he about to fight somebody?
when switching on to them, and while there might have
He was about to, he ain't like that foul.
been a tactical advantage to him cleaning the glass to start the fast break, I think this kind of rebounding only added a little defensive value. I do think he could string together decent possessions in the moments where his motor was revved up, but it's hard to view him as much of a positive on that end. Instead, the offense is so good, it elevates him among the legends by itself. His game does come with a small trade-off. He was significantly less effective without monopolizing the basketball, meaning any other on-ball star wouldn't fit well next to him. But with post pieces or good finishers, he basically guaranteed you a championship-level offense. And that means despite only scoring 20 points per game, Magic Johnson has a strong case as the greatest offensive player of all time. For more historical content into
What y'all think? He just said that his offense alone might be the greatest of all time. And I know y'all Larry Bird fans, like, shout out to y'all. Larry has a lot of skills going his way when it comes to scoring. He was also a great passer. He wasn't the best defender, but he was a solid defender. And he got the hardware too. He got 3 championships, 3 MVPs, 5-time champion. He's also a 3-time MVP, just like Larry. 3-time Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, 9-time All-First Team, and 10,141 career assists. So he got the same pretty much accolades, a little bit more than Larry. Larry's the efficient scorer, one of the best shooters of all time. Like I said, I might have to knock him in my top 5. I might, not a guarantee, because Magic was that guy. He was called Magic for a reason. Yes, sir, man. This is the end of the video. What y'all think, man? Yeah, man, I love this GOAT series. I see that y'all love it too. I'm gonna keep on doing my thing with it. This is the end of the video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below stuff that you want me to add to. Turn on post notifications to be alerted when I post new videos out here. Appreciate the support. Yes, sir. I'm gonna see y'all next time. Peace.